Hi everyone! Today I want to talk to you about the idea of Christmas gifts and what are some of my ideas and suggestions around Christmas gifts that could be suitable for all of the different 16 types. So all about that in the next few minutes. If you haven't already, please don't forget to like and subscribe and let's dive in. So, Christmas gifts. I know that it's not a topic I usually talk about on my channel, since a lot of my videos are more focused on the theory around MBTI or Enneagram or some of my personal thoughts around it. But today I really felt like, since Christmas is coming, since we have just a bit over a week left, for those of you who are still unsure what to get some of the, close people in your life, family members, friends, colleagues, partners, maybe I have a few ideas for you. I also sent 2 articles on my newsletter this week and last week, focused on what gifts are suitable for each of the MBTI types. But for those of you who haven't had the chance to look at that or who are not subscribed to my newsletter, feel free to watch this video to get even more ideas and inspiration around it. And as a disclaimer, the reason why I actually care about this topic is because I feel like by having a deeper understanding of how someone is like, and of course their MBTI type or their Enneagram type is not the only thing we need to know about them. However, it's one of the tools that we can use in order to better guess or understand what someone might appreciate. And as a result, we are more likely to make them happy. With ourselves, we are more likely to feel comfortable and happy with the choice that we make. And thirdly, we reduce waste, because by giving gifts that are more meaningful, we are less likely to just, fall into this consumerism trap and eventually also do more and more harm to our planet, which is also something important. So that's kind of the mindset or the angle that I will share these topics with you, and let's start. So the first type that I would like to talk about is ESFJ. ESFJs are types who have extroverted feeling as their hero function or dominant function, and introverted sensing as their parent function. So when it comes to ESFJs, I've seen this a lot, and the theory confirms as well that they really appreciate gifts that have some sort of sentimental value, or they have a more aesthetic/practical value. When I talk about sentimental value, I talk about gifts that appeal to the ESFJ in terms of the relationship that you have with them. So maybe you can consider getting them a nice collage of photographs with nice messages, stories from your relationship with each other, depending on what type of relationship it is. Perhaps even a handmade gift where you really express your gratitude, your appreciation for them. Or something that represents a memory that you share together, an object or a letter or a video, something that encapsulates an important memory that you have with them, because that will really appeal to their feeling side, sentimental side. At the same time, I've seen a lot of ESFJs, especially the female ones, appreciate gifts that help them look good and put together. Whether it's clothing, jewelry, shoes, bags, accessories, makeup, skincare products that make them, look classy, elegant, put together. But here I would be careful not to go for something too extravagant, because most ESFJs prefer a more, let's say, classy, traditional, elegant look. And then another thing that I notice for a lot of ESFJs, and some of my best friends can confirm it, a lot of them are big foodies. So if you can bake them something nice or buy them some really tasty sweets or something else they enjoy in terms of food, they are also very likely to appreciate it. Okay, let's move on to ISFJ. So similar to the ESFJ, I would say that for ISFJs, there's a big appeal when it comes to gifts that are related to sentimental value. So again, compiling an album of photographs with special moments together, nice messages that maybe you write yourself, are very likely to appeal to them. I recently made such a gift for an ISFJ in my family, and he was extremely happy about it. At the same time, you might also go for things that connect you, again, with them with a specific memory, like an object, the way I shared for ESFJ as well, something that makes them think of a beautiful memory or moment that you shared together. This is likely to really touch them. And if they feel like this is handmade, something that you put your own effort in it, even if it's not something very expensive, they might actually really appreciate it. Also, I've noticed that a lot of ISFJs, especially male ones, can actually be quite sporty. Not all of them, but for those who are, you might actually consider getting them a gift that is practical in the sense that they can use it during one of their sports-related hobbies, some sort of equipment or clothing, or I don't know, a membership to a club or a gym or something that kind of connects to that. And in case they don't like sports or they don't really like investing in that, perhaps consider a hobby that they have and something that will help them engage in self-care. Because a lot of ISFJs struggle with self-care in the sense that they do a lot for other people and sometimes they forget to take care of themselves. So maybe like a massage or a spa voucher or a really nice cozy kind of thing like a pajama or a nice blanket that they can use to be cozy at home. Those could also be really appreciated. Okay. Now, let's move on to ENFJ. When it comes to ENFJs, I've noticed that they either tend to be very much happy or surprised positively when it comes to gifts that are related to learning and personal growth, or in gifts that enable them to have a positive experience with you. So either appeal to their NI in the sense that you stimulate their abstract thinking, their focus on personal growth and continuous development. So maybe something like books focused on psychology or personal development or career development, or the possibility to do coaching sessions or therapy or participate in a training session focused on developing specific soft skills or hard skills that they're interested in. This could all be really great choices for ENFJs. At the same time, they are also likely to appreciate sharing positive experiences with you, kind of related to their extroverted sensing child function. So the tertiary function. This can mean taking them together with you on a fun trip or having a nice romantic dinner together or going to an event together that you think they might really like. This can also be wonderful opportunities for your ENFJ. Okay, next, INFJ. A lot of the times INFJs can be quite uncomfortable when it comes to receiving gifts, especially if the gifts are very pricey. So again, it's probably a better idea either to choose something that has emotional significance for them, whether it's something that connects you to them, something that you created yourself with a special message. For example, one time I got a video from some of my friends. For my birthday, they compiled together this really nice video of them sharing their stories about things that they appreciate in our relationship or things they appreciate about me. And it was really heartfelt and it was probably one of the best gifts I've ever received. So something along those lines with personal meaning and personal significance can be a really good choice a lot of the times. Also, similar to ENFJ, things that are related to personal growth and psychology, because a lot of INFJs are interested in these topics, whether personally or professionally. Books, courses, vouchers for activities that can help them develop and grow, coaching, training, therapy, things like that are very likely to appeal very much to INFJs, like they would to a lot of NF types for that matter. Okay, next. Let's start with ESFP in terms of the FP types. So ESFPs are types that are probably very likely to appreciate spontaneous creative gifts. So if you have the opportunity to surprise them with something they might not expect, that can be a great idea, especially if the surprise is also related to some sort of adventure or experience, taking them to a fun concert, planning a trip together, taking them to a really cool restaurant or a party can be something that they really appreciate, again, depending on their specific interests. But experiences that are often adventurous and surprising can be wonderful gifts for ESFPs. At the same time, a lot of them I've noticed tend to appreciate things that are aesthetically pleasing, like nice clothing, jewelry, makeup, skincare products. Especially if they are females, they are quite likely to enjoy gifts that are thoughtful and high quality in that sense. And another thing that a lot of ESFPs might enjoy, especially the male ones, can be, very practical, useful gifts. Maybe something they need around the kitchen, something they need around the house, an accessory that they might need for their car, something practical that would solve a realistic problem. That can also be one angle that you could take. Next, ISFP. You know, as ISFP has this stereotype of being the artist of the 16 types, gifts that kind of tap into creativity or artistic pursuits can be great gifts for them, especially if they actually practice some sort of activity that is related to arts. Maybe you can consider getting them a painting toolkit or other like resources and tools that they can use in one of their artistic interests, whether that's painting or drawing or reading or poetry or fashion or whatever that might be. Also, a lot of ISFPs, due to their introverted feeling hero function, also appreciate gifts that have sentimental or emotional value and significance. So this came to mind immediately because my ISFP cousin once gifted this to me, and I think she would also appreciate a gift like that. A locket or a necklace with a locket where inside she put a picture of us as children. And that was really, really sweet and really thoughtful. So I think, you know, gifts that have this kind of personal significance can also be something they really appreciate, like a lot of the feeler types. And then again, something maybe that appeals to their aesthetic interests, because a lot of ISFPs do appreciate aesthetics, whether it's really nice clothing that matches their style. And contrary to what I said about ESFJs or ISFJs, ISFPs are more likely to have a more eclectic style, clothes that are less traditional or less put together in a traditional sense, but more exploratory, more expressive, more artistic. Okay, next, ENFP. I would say that ENFPs as well as ENTPs, which I will talk about a bit later, are types that are slightly easier to give presents to because they tend to get quite excited and enthusiastic about receiving gifts and experiences from people they love. And also because they tend to usually have very diverse interests. One of the things that I immediately think about is fun experiences or adventures together, whether you decide to take them on a trip with you or plan a trip for the future, whether it's going to an event or a concert or a movie or something that you might think they enjoy, an exhibition, a dinner, a party, an event that is related to one of their interests can be a really good idea for a lot of ENFPs. Similarly, because of their NF temperament, they are also very possibly interested in things related to personal growth, psychology, personal development, so books related to these topics, courses that enable them to kind of focus on their personal development, coaching, things like that can also really tap into some of their core values and are very likely to be appreciated. And also because a lot of ENFPs are also quite creative and artistic, whether they do it as a job or whether they just do it for fun or it's a way that they use to express themselves. Perhaps giving them a gift that is related to one of their interests can also be a very good idea. Like, for example, if they are very passionate about singing, maybe you can get them a ticket or a voucher to take some singing classes or some equipment that they can use to record music. If they are interested in drawing or painting, maybe get them some tools or some objects that they can use while they're painting or drawing. If they are interested in movies, maybe buy them some movies that you think they might really enjoy, something maybe interesting they haven't quite seen before. So that's another possibility that you have. And for the last feeler type, INFP, I would say that, again, you are likely to be in the right if you choose gifts that are not too pricey, not too extravagant, because INFPs are also types that are quite likely to feel uncomfortable with receiving a lot of gifts, and they usually prefer giving gifts rather than receiving gifts, which can make them feel a little bit awkward. But if you do decide to give them gifts, either opt for something focused on personal growth. Books are very likely to be very much appreciated by INFPs, or other things that they can use in their personal growth journey, in their introspection journey. A lot of INFPs are also creative, artistic. So again, like I said, for ENFP or ISFP, getting them gifts that kind of tap into their creative or artistic interests can also be great ideas. Or taking them along on shared experiences with you, especially if you're very close to them, like you're their romantic partner or best friend or close family member. But usually it's better to take them to experiences where it's not too noisy or it's not too busy. Rather something where they can relax and spend quality time with you, maybe learn something new together, rather than be overwhelmed by a lot of things that go on. Okay, let's move to the thinking types. I will start with ENTJ. So when it comes to ENTJs, I've noticed two main categories of things they really appreciate. The first one is related to career growth and development. So again, books that are related to their fields of interest in their careers, courses that they can take in order to develop their skills, coaching possibilities in order to get better at what they do professionally are very likely to be really good gifts for the ENTJ. On the other hand, because of their extroverted sensing child, they also really appreciate things that have kind of like this high quality. For example, like a fine dining experience together, or a really elegant set of clothing or jewelry or bags or shoes, especially if they also work in business, in corporate, which quite a lot of them do. It might be a good idea to get them something high quality in this respect, because they are very likely to appreciate it, whether it's an object or an experience. INTJs. I would say INTJs can be quite similar to INFJs and INFPs in the sense that getting gifts can make them feel quite uncomfortable. I see this a lot with my INTJ father. He doesn't like getting gifts. But if he does, and I've seen this in some other INTJs too, it's either something that is related to like mental or intellectual development, like books again, on a topic that the INTJ is passionate about, maybe philosophy, maybe politics, maybe history, maybe fiction, depends. Or something that they can use to get something for themselves. Sometimes even money or a voucher can be a good gift if you're unsure. Maybe you know they have a shop that they really like. Maybe get them a voucher they can use in that shop. Or maybe give them money so they can get something for themselves, or save or invest that money. Here, I know it depends on the culture as well, and there are other things you might need to take into account. But it's usually a good idea not to go for something too extravagant or too pricey, because it might make them uncomfortable. And then again, you can also try to go for something that helps them in their professional growth. Books, coaching, training sessions, and so on and so forth. Okay, ESTJ. Like all of the ST types, ESTJs are likely to appreciate practical, useful gifts. So rather than things that they just like look at, maybe something they can actually use in their day-to-day life. Maybe a tool that they need at home. Maybe something for their car because something broke down or they need something. Maybe something for the kitchen, like an appliance or some sort of tools that they can use. These are very likely to be appreciated by the practical ESTJ. Similarly, on the other hand, to ESFJs, ESTJs are also very likely to appreciate clothing or jewelry or shoes or accessories that help them look put together or elegant, like nice clothing, nice jewelry, but again with a more traditional, elegant, put together kind of style rather than something very extravagant. This is also something that would appeal to their introverted sensing parent function. Now, let's move on to ISTJ. ISTJs can also fall into the category of not being very happy or feeling a bit awkward when it comes to receiving gifts. But a lot of them, especially the younger and male ISTJs, are likely to be into gadgets or technology. So offering them gifts related to, some new device or gadget that they're interested in or that they could use, especially if professionally they also do something related to that, can be a good idea. Giving them practical things like for the ESTJ, tools, kitchen appliances or equipment, car-related parts, gadgets that they might need around the house, very practical clothing. Maybe they're into hiking and you get them hiking equipment. Maybe they, enjoy working in their workshop, so maybe some workshop clothing or shoes can also be a good idea. They also tend to prefer gifts that are concrete and useful and practical. But for female ISTJs in particular, I notice they also really appreciate cozy gifts. So a nice warm comfy blanket, or a nice, quality coffee and a nice cup to pair with that, or some fluffy socks or a comfortable pillow and bed sheets. These can also be really appreciated because they do have quite a nice aesthetic sense, especially in the cozy, homey kind of area. Okay, now let's move on to the TP types. ESTPs are types that are very likely to, again, have very eclectic, diverse interests. But usually, kind of gifting them something related to new experiences is very likely to be appreciated. A trip together, a concert together, attending an event together, having a nice dinner together. These are all likely to really make the ESTP happy because as a, let's say, result of their preference for extroverted sensing, they are likely to appreciate engaging in experiences that are stimulating with people that they love. And when you do that for them, they are likely to appreciate it. Same if you go for practical gifts, because they are ST types, and ST types are probably the most down-to-earth, pragmatic types, they are likely to appreciate it. So if you know that, I don't know, they need a tool for their home, or they need something for their kitchen, or they need a piece of furniture for their home, if you can afford it, of course. Or they need a new pair of hiking boots because theirs broke. Or they need, I don't know, something for their cars or a new gadget. That's also something they will appreciate because they could immediately make use of that. Next, ISTPs. Here I can also tell you from experience being in a relationship with one for quite a long time, and also supported by the theory, ISTPs are also types that don't necessarily enjoy getting gifts because they are afraid that if they don't make use of that gift or they don't like that gift, then they will offend the other person because they might feel a bit uncomfortable, like showing that they like the gift even though they don't. So either go for something extremely practical, a tool that they need, a gadget that you think they might be interested in, a computer game that you know they might really like trying out, a book on a topic that you know they're passionate about, then go for it. Otherwise, it's probably a better idea to give them money or a voucher that you know they could use for some sort of shop or some sort of experience. And also because they have extroverted sensing as their parent function, they are also likely to appreciate quality experiences with people that are very close to them, romantic partners, close family members, close friends. So taking them along on a nice trip or picnic or dinner that you planned might be very nice. But be careful not to overwhelm them with too large of a group of people. Okay, ENTPs. I mentioned before, I think ENTPs are one of the types that are the most likely to appreciate a wide variety of presents. And of course, I would start from doing something fun and adventurous with them. A spontaneous trip, a cool event or course or conference that is focused on a topic they're interested in, a comedy show that you attend together, can all be really good ideas that will get the ENTP very excited. Also, funny gifts, maybe a t-shirt with a funny message or an inside joke that you have, or some other object that is related to an inside joke that you have are very likely to be appreciated. And also, I think quite a lot of ENTPs, not all of them, but a lot of them, especially the male ones, have a certain interest in technology, gadgets, devices, things along those lines. So perhaps offering them a new phone or a new gadget or a new game for their computer can also be a good idea, if you know they have some sort of interest in this field at least. And another idea that I can think of is having them maybe do something creative with you, whether it's baking a fun cake together or trying out a cool new recipe, or going and exploring a new place together can also be things that really stimulate the ENTP. And last but not least, INTP. I think INTPs are probably one of the types that it's actually the most difficult to get gifts to, but probably appealing to their intellectual interests or their intellectual side is a good way to think about what presents to give them. So maybe a book that is a bit abstract, or a book that is related to one of their professional or personal interests can be great ideas. Going together to some sort of conference or event that is related to some of their specific intellectual interests can also be good choices. and sharing experiences together, but again, experiences that are more quiet, more one-on-one, rather than experiences where you have a very large group of people. So whether it's having a nice coffee, lunch, dinner together, whether it's doing a nice trip in nature maybe, or somewhere else, a place that you think they might enjoy or they would like to visit, can also be really good ideas. And also taking into account that a lot of INTPs also seem to be interested in technology, especially the male ones. Choosing a gift like a device or a gadget or a game can be other things to consider. Okay, so these are my thoughts on some of the gift ideas that you can take into account when thinking about a friend, a family member, a partner, a colleague that you would like to buy something for Christmas. Of course, we need to take into account other factors like gender and age and culture and specific interests and your relationship with them. But I try to put together some of the things that are the most related to the functions, the temperament, the interaction style of those specific types. I really hope this was helpful, and I hope you have a wonderful holiday season filled with happiness and connection to the people you love most. If you're interested in signing up for my newsletter, where I send articles approximately every other week on topics related to typology, personal growth, self-awareness, communication, feel free to check out the link in the description below. And also, if you're interested in engaging in life coaching sessions for the next year, please feel free to check out the link in the description below as well. As always, thank you very much for being with me. Thank you very much for watching this video, and see you next time with another video on typology.